Now watch this drive.
Welcome back to the Highly Original Podcast. I'm Joe Martino. Parker Danks is sick today, so he will not be joining us, but I am joined by a special guest, Rachel Dacey. Rachel, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So a little background for the audience. Rachel is a friend of mine from high school, and she is here today to talk to us about the the major film Twilight, which of course, I can't imagine anybody watching or listening doesn't know about that. At least a basic idea of that movie.
Yeah.
Um,
It was in its heyday when we were in like middle and high school.
yeah, I'd say middle school definitely.
Yeah,
I guess
sure.
high school too, but yeah. So first off, Rachel, I just wanted to let you introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, I'm Rachel, Twilight aficionado in some aspects. I'm Joy's friend from high school, like you said, and I have this cool shirt that I've worn for this occasion, and it says, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella."
So that's of course a iconic reference to the film. But yeah, Rachel, you're coming to us from Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, Pittsburgh,
Okay.
Pennsylvania,
Yes.
in the Berg, as
We're
opposed to
on
Pittsburgh,
we're on the opposite
North
sides of
Dakota.
Pennsylvania. This is a very Pennsylvania episode tonight.
Yes, yes.
Um, but yeah, I mean, with that, we can just jump into it if you want.
Sure, yeah.
All right. So Twilight is a 2008 film. Wikipedia calls it a romantic fantasy film, which I feel like is pretty fitting. It's based off the book Twilight, written by Stephanie Meyer, and it starred Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, Billy Burke, and Peter Facinelli. And yeah, it was a major film. Basically, in the story, Bella Swan is a junior in high school, or no, senior in high school, and she is from Phoenix, Arizona, and because her mother and her stepfather are moving to Florida, she decides to move up to this town, Forks, Washington, which is in like the rural part of Washington state, to be with her dad, Charlie, who is the sheriff of, I guess, the whole county. And she has like a strained relationship with him, but she goes up there to live with him. And when she's there, she encounters a classmate, Edward Cullen, who is from this family, the Cullens, who are supposedly all foster kids that are dating each other, which is like, it's commented by the characters that is weird. And they're like this mysterious, beautiful, pale group of people, and they it's over the course of their friendship to romance, it's revealed that he is a vampire, and he's about 100 years old, but he still looks 17.
Yeah, they never touch on how creepy that is, as an aside.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like, there are like weird parts like that. But yeah, so that's the basic plot, and then once she goes into this vampire world, danger finds her, because most vampires feed on the blood of humans, but the Cullens don't. They drink animal blood, and because of that, they're good vampires, I guess.
They call themselves the vegetarians.
Yes, that's their brand. But yeah, I mean, so with that like basic synopsis, Rachel, I was talking to you earlier tonight to prep you for tonight's episode, and you told me this was in preparation for this. Turns out to be the fourth time you've watched this movie this year. I just watched it this week for the first time in a couple of years. So clearly you have a pretty big connection to this film. I do as well, but I wanted to let you touch on on what is this series like? How has it been a part of your life? I guess I don't know. Like,
You see, the thing is, I don't particularly love the movie or the books. I just end up watching them. Like maybe it's like a nostalgia thing because like I read them when I was, like middle
oh
school,
yeah,
and so
for
it's just
sure.
like a every once in a while I'm like, I wonder why I like this, and then I'll rewatch it, and I'm like, they're all so weird. None of them know how to act. Is this where I got my socialization from? Because this isn't good. This
Okay.
isn't looking great.
So like you read them?
Yeah, I read all of the
Did you read
books
all? You read all the books?
multiple times.
So believe it or not, and I feel like this is kind of like, I'm one of the rare guys that actually read
Really?
read some of the books in in middle school,
Hmm.
as they were coming out and watching them. Um, I remember it was like a subculture called Twi guys. So I
Oh.
guess I was one of them. Um,
I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah, apparently it was. I was probably like one of two people.
Oh,
But
there you go. Start a little club.
yeah, yeah, I remember like yeah, reading it and seeing the movies, but I do remember like also finding them humorous as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember when this movie like first came out, it was like big. Like me and like friends in middle school, like we all like stayed after school late, or like we all like went to someone's house late and like we went to see it. Like it was a big,
Yeah.
this was like event. This was a cultural event. I mean,
It was, or like the weekends where it came out, everyone was texting to be like, hey, hey, anyone want to go to the movie on Saturday? Hey, New Moon is out. Let's go see it.
Moon.
Want to go see Eclipse?
Yeah, the clips. Oh, it was Breaking Dawn, the final one where there's like two parts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It fell into that trend where like the Hunger Games and Harry
Yeah, no,
Potter
yeah,
did
they
that too.
like
Yeah.
began really trying to milk it for what it was worth.
Hmm.
But I guess like so since we both rewatched it, I'm kind of like curious, like what are your thoughts on the rewatch?
It's a little funnier than I remember it being.
Oh yeah, I mean there was a lot I like noticed this time around that I didn't before.
Yeah.
And it really does like kind of help you like understand like all right, like this was definitely written for like younger teenagers. Like
Yes. Because I remember watching being like, I understand why like 12, 13-year-old me liked this. Current me, I'm like, who are you people? That's not how you act.
yeah, I mean, I guess like for me, something like I noticed is like Edward's hostility towards Bella in the beginning. Like he's really mean to her. It turns out because he's like you know, she smells really like tasty
Yeah.
to him or
She like
something.
smells good and he can't read her mind. And so that intrigues him where she's like, oh, she smells good and I can't read her mind. Who is this girl? What are we gonna do about this?
Oh, that's right, because they all have like powers, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I think Alice can see the future. Jasper manipulates moods.
Oh, does
Or
he?
yeah, or like he does like a mood control
Okay.
kind of thing. Yeah.
And like
Edward can read.
Rosalie's just like mean, or
No,
she have a power.
I think her power was being like supernaturally beautiful, but I think all of them are because they're
Yeah, yeah, they're
vampires.
all like supposed to be like beautiful, right? But yeah, I mean, definitely rewatching it, like there was like a lot of moments where I'm just like, he's just like a dick. Like,
He's just like negging her the whole time. And like before he even says anything to her, she walks in the room and he like covers his face. Like she
like
smells bad.
there'll be like anything she says, he's just like you, you think that like he's just like completely like he's
It's a
just like
foolish mortal.
yeah, but it's like it really does translate to like anytime you've ever like encountered a couple where like the guy's just like a little too mean to the girl. Like he makes fun of her like just a little too much. like that's what it like seemed like to me.
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, like to the point where you're sitting there going like, "Are you good? Like this is uncomfortable. Is everyone cool here?"
it's like, yeah, mean. He's just mean. But I mean, like I guess like so like what who the characters would you say like have been your favorite? Like I don't know, like what character do you enjoy?
I don't see. I am of the opinion that Edward and Bella are two of the least interesting characters in the book about them.
Yeah, I mean I find that often happens in a lot of
Yeah,
like stories. It's always the supporting characters that are like more interesting and entertaining.
right.
But I guess like what so where are you going with that? You're like
I was gonna
which
say
of the
like
side characters do you enjoy?
yeah. So like a lot of the Cullens have really interesting backstories. Like I think Alice can't quite remember being human. Like she was in a psych ward or something, and then woke up in a field as a vampire, and isn't quite sure how she got there, and that's how she can have her visions.
And she like woke up and she's now Zoe Deschanel in every movie she's ever been in.
Yes, pretty much.
I mean,
A little bit of like the manic pixie dream girl where
yeah, I mean, like,
everything's
yeah,
all
definitely, like, but yeah. So Alice would be your favorite. You're trying to
yes.
say,
Yeah,
okay.
Alice would be one of my favorite characters. How about you? Who's one of your favorite characters?
I mean, I've always kind of enjoyed Charlie, the dad,
Yes.
because he's just like a real police officer and is not in any way tied to like fantasy world. And like most of his dialogue's pretty realistic. And I like that he just exists as like a normal character in this like bizarre world. That's always been like I don't know. Like I think I was saying like I think it'd be funny to like do a movie where it's just like him, but it's like a true detective and it's like not really related and there's just like peripherally there's like vampire stuff. But it's like it's
But
really
he's
just
not
like,
involved.
solving like a murder case. Like yeah, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I guess they had to do it. Like the vampires in this series are definitely like not like I don't know accurate or historic vampires. Like they're not servants of the devil.
Yeah.
So like there's no like exorcism demon stuff that goes on. They don't burn in the sunlight. They sparkle
Sparkle.
in sunlight. And it's like like that like their skin looks like diamonds, but it really bothers Edward in that one scene. I mean,
He's distraught.
he's distraught as he looks like a engagement ring, but uh you know, I don't know, I mean, I guess they kind of had to do that, but right? Like it would have been like too dark for them to be like evil vampires. Like I don't know. So I guess they had to change things around, but I guess in the rewatch, was there any like scenes? I mean, well, I guess for you it's like just a normal like monthly event, but
Just normal Tuesday.
you know, um, like I guess is there any like scene that like you found like I don't know interesting, particular interest?
I mean, the baseball scene is pretty iconic
Oh
with
yeah,
like Muse in the background.
oh yeah, honestly, like Muse. So like with that scene with Muse playing, like I actually was like thinking about Muse today. I was really big into Muse,
Yeah.
and I'm like kind of think I'm gonna have to like listen to them again. But yeah, the baseball scene that's like wild because they're all like they're just like I guess they're playing baseball, but it's all like slow motion shots and like
Right.
the weird running where they're just like you know because like they have like supernatural abilities and stuff. But I mean, and one of the greatest lines are like my monkey man. There's just so
Oh,
many like weird little
so many good ones. Or oh, if we're gonna also talk about supporting characters, so you remember when they're at that restaurant, the bloated toad, I think it's called?
is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah, the restaurant where like he doesn't eat, but she gets like ravioli or something, and he's telling her like I can read every mind in this room, and then he's like look at her and he goes, that guy's thinking about cats, and it's just a guy who like looks really tough and he's just going,
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. I mean, but I guess kind of related to the baseball scene. Now, I don't know this is gonna make me sound lame, but like the scene with the evil vampires is actually kind of cool.
They
Like,
do a pretty good job of that.
like I mean, and mind you, like the whole movie is filmed like a pop punk music video from like 2007, but like they like walk out in the mist, but it look like they're walking, but it looks like they're on treadmills, but they're like moving faster than they're walking.
I
And
think they actually are on like a treadmill kind of thing. Like when they were filming it, they couldn't get them to walk fast enough or smooth enough, so they put them on like a moving thing and just drag.
it's very bizarre, but no lie, there is some like tension in the scene that I think is actually kind of cool. Like, because that's like when they're like they're like this. So they're playing baseball and like um the evil vampires show up, right? And it's like this pack. I don't know. Are they what are they? Packs or covens? What do they call themselves?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like
I
there
think
was a
I
name
think
that
they
they
might be
like
covens.
they have like, but and like they come out and like the one notices that Bella's like a human, and it's corny, but it's also kind of cool because they all like get into like attack poses.
Yeah.
And like I like the British vampire with like the dreadlocks. No lie, he's kind of cool. And I like how he's like, yeah, I eat people, but like I'll respect you guys. Like he's like he's like he's like, I see we are done here. Like the game is over. And like he goes to their house and like warns them about the guy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the guy's like, he's just a big jerk. I'm done being in a coven with him. And like,
I'm sick of his shenanigans. I'm out of here.
but it does remind me of like this scene in so you know those like movies like a scary movie and stuff.
Yes.
So like and like epic movie, Meet the Spartans, all those
Mhm.
that genre. So there was one made that was a Twilight one, and it's called Vampires
Vampires
Suck.
suck. Yeah.
And there's like this scene that like I always think of uh with like when I see like this scene, the baseball scene with the evil vampires, because in it, the dad from Wizards of Waverly Place is in Vampires Suck. Yes, he is. He's like their victim at the dock, and
Oh
like
no.
one vampire's like, "Do you know who we are?" And he's just like, "The Black Eyed Peas," like because they like kind of low key do resemble the Black Eyed Peas. So like the guy with the dreadlocks is Will I Am, the
Mhm.
girl is Fergie, and like the shirtless guy is like kind of maybe Taboo because he's got like the long hair and he's like
That would fit for
yeah.
2008.
So like I always think of that like that scene when I see them, but I don't know. Like, are there any parts of this movie that you do think is like, all right, that's kind of cool? Like, I kind of think the confrontation's kind of cool, like
Yeah,
low key.
the baseball scene and the confrontation. I guess I don't know. At the beginning of the movie, there's not like a whole lot that they do. I mean, there's a lot of Edward watching her sleep.
Oh yeah.
There's
Oh gosh, that's like horrifying, isn't it?
yeah.
Like, and it's not even like filmed to be like it's genuinely like she's in bed and she's just like and like he's just like dun 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 like and then like he's gone like it's just like and then when he's like I like watching you sleep. It's so interesting because you're so stupid. He's just got this attitude of superiority. But yeah, him watching like her sleep, I mean, that's pretty intense, like for like a second.
Oh, the car crash that he saves her from. Like when he jumps in between this van sliding towards her.
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, yeah, there's like there's like I mean, but they're all kind of like corny in the end of the
Oh
day.
yeah.
I mean, like
I'm going by Twilight standards. Like what's
by like
cool?
Twilight standards. But like honestly, it was kind of cool to see to watch it again because like it is such a blast from the past. Like it is so like synonymous with that like middle school time for us, and
Yep.
the late 2000s to the early 2010s. I mean, I guess like the last one came out like freshman year of high school. I think so, 2012.
I think so. Yeah, sophomore year maybe. Yeah, it was early high school, if I
Yeah,
remember
I
right.
mean, and of course in that one we get to see the Italian Renaissance vampires.
Oh
That's
yeah, the
like,
Volturi. They show back up in all of their strange glory.
I honestly I never saw like the end and I never read the books all the way to through it. I like gave up on New Moon. I was like,
That's
this is
fair.
boring, and I like stopped reading it. And like I never watched like the other movies. Like I just watched the I guess the first two.
That's fair. I was gonna
You
say
know,
Breaking Dawn doesn't get much better.
yeah, I mean, from what I remember, like it gets like weird too, because like Jacob, who's her Native American friend, who's also a werewolf, because like what is it like the men of the tribe can be werewolves, but not
Uh,
all of them. I like what
I don't think it's exclusive to that because I know there's one woman who's a werewolf,
oh
but
really? I thought it was like
yeah,
male.
I think predominantly, but somehow she also turns into a werewolf, but she's like the only one.
Oh, so she's breaking the glass ceiling
It's
of like
really
empathy. Okay.
Stephanie Meyer's getting progressive on.
Like yeah, I thought it was just like the men. I thought it was like a thing in the book, like that they're like it's the men of our tribe that can turn into giant wolves. Like,
Yeah, which
but yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing with like Jacob, the wolf guy, um, which in Vampires Suck, he turns into a chihuahua, which was pretty cool.
yeah.
But like, doesn't he like claim Bella's daughter?
he imprints on her, which is
Like,
what they it's like their love at first sight kind of thing where it's like
she's
I
like
will protect you for
she's
your
like a
entire life.
rapidly aging baby, like or something. And like he's like, nah, it's not like that until she's 18. Like,
Which is still creepy. It's
like
still
isn't that
weird.
like what he says or something? Like, is that
Yeah,
like
pretty
part of
much.
it? Like, yeah, there's like a lot, and you like brought that up, like how like Edward's like 100 and she's like 17, but
Mhm.
he's still like 17. There's like a lot of weird things that are introduced in the plot that they're like, no, 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 no. It's okay because of this. Like, no, 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 they age differently. You don't understand. Like,
Right.
there's like a lot of like weird stuff like that. Like, yeah, because like what her baby is like an unnatural vampire baby or
Yeah.
something.
Like I think the baby's name also drives me up a wall. Its name is Renesmee
Oh, okay.
because she wanted to combine her mom and her mom's name Renee and then Esme.
Oh. Oh, I didn't. I thought it was like I thought she was combining Carlisle and Esme's name. Yours makes a lot more sense. I never knew that, but yeah, there's just like lots of weird stuff. But I guess like something that kind of irritates me, like because that of course is like the last movie. We're talking about the first one.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've
Um,
gotten off a little track, sorry.
Something that like irritated me was was that like she has like these like normal friends throughout the movie that are just trying to accept her and like welcome her, like
Yeah.
and it's like they're like not the cool kids. Well, it's like kind of like a mix. Like they have like a couple jocks, they have like a nerd, they had the pretty popular girl, they have like
Yeah.
another nerd. Like it's like this like idyllic community of friends that welcomes her wholeheartedly that she just
Yeah.
ignores and uses to get to the Cullens who do not want her and are vampires. So like I don't know, that was something that always like irritated me. And I feel like in the books she definitely is more friends with them. Like in the movies they make her like kind of like yeah, get the hell out of here. But like, I don't know. Like, does that bother you? Like, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Would you like if you were Bella
Mhm.
and you come into biology class and Edward does all the same stuff and like you do think he's like hot, but he's doing all the same stuff. Because I feel
Yeah.
like that's what this is about. She's attracted to him, so she keeps trying to like learn about him.
Right.
So yeah, so you, Rachel,
Okay.
you find him physically attractive, but he's still acting and behaving how he behaves in the movie. What would like are you gonna like try to be friends with him? Or are you just gonna be like, all right, I just gotta get through this bio class?
Well, I think I'd be more in the camp of like, I just have to get through this class. Do I smell? Like, why does he hate me? I'm just gonna leave now and go tell my cool friends who have welcomed me to this new school, which is a terrifying experience to transfer. Not terrifying, that's a bit over dramatic, but it's a little scary to like transfer into a different high school. But it's comforting when you have like a
Well,
group
you
of
did.
friends. I did, yeah, it was a little scary. And then you guys immediately were like, hey, want to be friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like you'd be really offended if I ditched you for a vampire. I would think
Yeah.
I would be,
Like,
yeah.
one of the big questions that I feel like I do want to ask you before we kind of move on from our Twilight discussion would be, and this was a major question of pop culture. Are you team Edward or team Jacob? And why?
Oh man. Ooh, it's a good question. I think I was Team Jacob.
Why?
Uh, I don't I don't know. Some of it I think was to be contradictory. A lot of my friends were Team Edward because that was like clearly where the book was going and
Yeah. You
they
just
enjoyed that.
countercultural.
Yeah, I just wanted to be edgy.
Well, was
Which
there ever any doubt that she was gonna like not end up with Edward? I mean, I feel
no.
like that would be a little bit advanced writing for a tween novel. Like,
Yeah. So, like she was always gonna end up with Edward. I think it was also just because as I got older too, I saw like we were talking about earlier where Edward's like very emotionally manipulative, which is not to say Jacob's great, but
he's a little bit nicer, I think. Like,
yeah, he's a little more willing to like let her not let her, but like, be cool with her going out and doing her own thing and
yeah,
not constantly at his side.
yeah. Oh God. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I was definitely a team Edward.
Oh, why?
Well, just because I was like, it's not that I didn't dislike Jacob. It was just more of like, I guess I was going along with like the narrative. I was like, they're destined to be together. I mean, he really loves her.
Yeah.
I mean, but of course now you have to you have to look at it like perspective of like what I was like 12,
Right.
11, 10 when I read this
Yeah.
or something. I mean, I'm not like thinking about all like the weird controlling
Yeah, no, I was
creepiness.
not thinking about that at like 12 either. That was like a
Yeah,
later on in
like,
life where I rewatched it
I'm
and
just
went,
like,
oh,
but
hey.
I do feel like Edward does love her. No,
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
loves
no, he
him.
loves her.
It works for them,
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I like, yeah, that was always like that was like the big, and like people got like militant about it. I remember people had shirts and stuff. Like,
Friend groups were destroyed.
friend groups were ripped apart. Did you have like, and like, did you see that happen amongst you?
It didn't happen to me, but I'm pretty sure there was some drama in my middle school if I remember correctly.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't remember seeing any of that. I mean, I went to a pretty small middle school where everybody
Yeah.
kind of just like was friends. So like, there was no like Twilight factionalism. No, there's no
Yeah.
sectarian conflict. But yeah, I mean, that was always like the big question. I mean, of course, Team Edward wins.
Yeah.
You know,
The way the book is always going, yeah.
it's always going that way. But now I guess like are you like you do enjoy this film, right? As do
Yeah,
I. Like we're both kind of in agreement, like, it has its place.
yes. It was,
And you know what? Something I want to say, like, is it was written for younger people. So
yes.
I don't know if it's like fair to judge it by like a rubric of like a drama written for like adults. It is written for 12-year-old girls. That was the target audience.
I was gonna say, yeah, current us, we are not the demographic.
Yeah, I mean, so but I enjoy it. I'm happy they exist. They
Yeah.
sort of bring back a time. And if you ever want to go to that time, go into a Hot Topic in a mall. It's freaky. It is still 2010.
Oh,
You
do they
go,
still have Twilight stuff?
it's all like Twilight stuff. It's very
Really?
weird. It's very weird. Like I was just in one recently, and I was like, this looks like 2011. Like I am in 2011.
Maybe they
It
haven't been able
looks
to like.
the same way it looked when all of us would go to the mall. Like it has not changed. It has not changed
Oh no.
from that time period.
That means no one's buying Twilight merch anymore.
I think people must be because they're still stocked with it.
Or it's all just remnants. It's all the same.
It's just like it's part of the contract to have a Hot Topic franchise is that you must have Twilight merchandise. That's part
Yep.
of it. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Twilight was pretty big. I remember what my one friend had a cutout poster of Edward, and
No.
I we like we filmed this movie where like I was behind the cardboard cutout, and I like chased her and stuff. Like I really hope that she still has it. I mean, I might reach out to her and see, like, do you have
Oh
this?
man.
And can you send it to me? Because if I recall, it was pretty funny to, again, to a 12-year-old. I
Yeah.
don't know what it would be like now, but I
Probably
do
still
remember
very hilarious.
it's me behind an Edward cutout, like chasing someone. And it was like, it's like a couple minutes long. Like, I think there were a few scenes. So there's a narrative.
So better than Twilight.
I don't know. But yeah. So kind of on the subject of vampires, right?
Yeah.
Because vampires, of course, we can classify as something called cryptids, which are like urban legend monsters, right?
Yes.
And so I wanted to ask you about that because I know you went to school in West Virginia. You went to West Virginia State or West
Uh,
Virginia.
yeah, West Virginia University, yeah.
Okay,
In
yeah.
Morgantown, West Virginia.
Morgantown, West Virginia. And West Virginia is home to one of the weirder cryptids.
Yeah.
And my one question is my question is, do you believe in cryptids? But I also want to give you the chance to, regale the audience with the story of this particular West Virginian cryptid.
Yeah, so West Virginia is cool. They actually have two. They have Mothman and they have the Flatwoods Monster,
Oh,
both of which are like alien supernatural. So Mothman was spotted in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 1967 by four young people who were like driving down a back road. They were parked in the TNT area of this like national park, and they saw like a man with large wings walking across the field, and apparently started chasing them, making a high-pitched noise. So they got away, reported it to the police, and then other sightings were caught in the area.
well, he's like kind of almost like, doesn't he like kind of appear before like something bad happens?
Yeah, they think he's like an omen of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he like the angel of death or something? Like like what's
It's just some people think he's like an interdimensional being that just
Oh,
like
so like a
floats around.
Lovecraft? He's like a Lovecraft creature?
A little bit, yeah. He just kind of shows up like and as a harbinger of doom. He doesn't. I don't think. I mean, I can't speak for the Mothman, but I'm guessing he doesn't really know what's gonna happen. He's just kind of there to be like, "Hey, lock your doors, maybe."
So like, is he like? So he's not a ghost. He's like, is he an animal, or you're saying he's an interdimensional being?
Yeah, he's not like a ghost. He's like a physical creature. There's actually a theory that it's like a sandhill crane or something that that couple saw, or that that group of people
Uh,
saw, because they do. They have like a really wide wingspan, and they have some markings that are bright red. That if you're like in the dark and already scared,
yeah, yeah.
you might think it's something else.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so I take it there. You don't believe in Mothman. You
I
think
think
it's
he's
just
a.
you think it's just a crane?
I mean, I think it's a fun story.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's not what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're talking about if you believe in these cryptids.
I mean, no,
No, I was like no,
no. I think
no.
they're fun. They're good for tourists in these like small pockets of West Virginia.
But like, you don't think like low key there could be like species of animals that like we don't know about and people are
Oh,
seeing.
100%.
You know what I
There could
mean?
be species that we don't know about. Yeah.
But like that's like sometimes what I wonder with these like animals. Like, is Mothman like this unknown animal? Is like the chupacabra just some animal we don't know?
Maybe.
Like
Or like the Sasquatch, things like that.
yeah, like
Yeah.
is there some are there like giant monkeys in the Rocky Mountains that just have existed?
Yeah, there could be.
I don't know. You tell me. You're the expert.
Oh man. No, they're actual real like cryptozoologists that go out and study this stuff, like spend years of their lives and come to Mothman Festival to present their findings.
As for myself,
Yeah, yeah, what do you think?
I feel like I don't. Yeah, like I don't. I don't feel like there's a Sasquatch. Like
You're not a believer.
no, I don't know. Like Mothman. Like I kind of I believe in like spirit stuff. Like so like I believe that they're like demons and things. So like,
Interesting.
but like I don't think like I think most likely the Mothman's probably like that crane you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I definitely don't think it's like an interdimensional figure
No.
from like Rick and Morty, but like like
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting you say that though. So like what's the distinction between like something that might just be like an animal that we don't know and people are making up stories for and like a demon or
well,
ghost and stuff like
I feel like ghosts and like stuff like spirits, right? Like they're like, as you said, they're not corporal. Like they don't have
that?
they're not they're like what is it called? Metaphysical. Like they're not
Uh,
physical beings, right? So
yeah.
like what you're saying is like Mothman, in theory, you could touch him.
Give them a little pet.
Yeah. Whereas like I feel like with ghosts, the idea is like you can't touch them. Like, right? They're
Okay.
not
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel like that's the difference. I don't know. Like, yeah, but like,
The difference of believability in that like if you can't touch it, you just kind of have to like guess or believe that it's there or versus like
wait.
something that
Well, I just like I feel like the concept of ghosts, right? Like they can disappear, they can do all this stuff.
okay.
Like if you're like a physical, like if it's like a Sasquatch, like that's a physical thing. It can't
Yeah.
like float away. It can't
Yeah.
go back to the spirit world. Like it can't go back to hell. Like it can't do any of these or go back to heaven, wherever it
Gotcha.
came from,
Yeah.
whatever it is the concept is. Like it is like us, a corporal being, right? So like
Yeah.
how's it gonna get away? How are we not gonna have found like its skeleton at this point? You know what I mean? I
Yes.
don't
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Has
yes,
no one like hit it with
I
their
feel
car by
like
accident?
yeah, like I feel like it makes more sense like that, I don't know, like You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I just I don't find them believable.
gotcha. Okay, no, I see. I'm seeing the distinction now. It's like, how has no one accidentally stumbled across tangible evidence of these creatures if they're,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not like a
yeah.
ghost is gonna die and like leave the body behind. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be wild. It's my
Yeah.
ghost skeleton.
Yeah, like how would that work? But
Casper, the darker twist.
yeah, but that's where I'm coming from with the cryptid thing. Have you heard like there's a Pennsylvania cryptid, which is like the saddest one I've
The
ever heard of.
squonk.
Yeah, it's what it's gone, and
The squonk.
it's like supposed to be like this ugly thing that
Yeah.
hates itself because it's ugly, and it
So it
just
cries.
cries all the time. Like
Yeah.
that's like the most existentially like messed up thing I've ever heard. It's like,
It's like Jersey gets the Jersey Devil. We get squonk.
yeah, like I feel like theirs is like the yours. Okay, it's like an evil goat monster. All
Yeah.
right, we know where it like stands. Like the squonk's just like gotta live like its life. Just sad. It's not even bad. Like it's not even a bad guy. Like it's just it's like do and like is it supposed to be like people like hate it when they see it?
No, I think it just hates itself so much.
It
It just
just
thinks
hates
it's,
itself.
yeah, because I don't know. I've never read anything of people being like, "Oh, it's so ugly, I'm gonna mock it and make it cry." I think
Yeah, like
it's,
do people like make fun of this thing? Like
I don't, oh, I need to do more squonk research, I think. But
research.
yeah.
See, like
But
I don't know. And
wait, have we drawn the,
that sounds like a Rick and Morty character too. All this stuff is like so bizarre. But yeah, I don't know. Well, thank you for talking to me about cryptids, Rachel. I
of course,
appreciate it.
anytime.
Yeah, but I do appreciate you coming on today. And for any new listeners or any old listeners, the Highly Original Podcast is available on YouTube and Spotify. And remember to follow us on Instagram at the underscore highly underscore original underscore podcast, where you can see all of our updates, memes, and clips from the show. And with that, Rachel, thank you so much for joining me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank
And
you for having me. First time
listeners,
or long time listener, first time caller. Very excited to be here.
yeah, you are. Yeah, so with that and the listeners, I will see you next time.